And will the church have the influence it once had? Dr. Njoya.
The church will not have influence because it's not preaching the gospel. It is preaching xenophobic gospel against other people. The church should do like Paul, who said, I'm a Greek to the Greek, and a Roman to the Romans, and a Jew to the Jews. That's the gospel. And Jesus Christ became human. He didn't become a Christian. There was no Christianity at that time. He became human. The church would be human and incarnate the humanity of Jesus Christ in Kenya, which would encompass everything, including Muslims. The church becoming xenophobic by being exclusive and intolerant. And the church has always been intolerant. It could not tolerate me. It sacked me 3 times for saying let's have a new constitution in Kenya. I lost my corps and I lost my ministry for 2 years. Right. Now the church is coming to say that it is going to do the same, to reject something we fought for on the streets when the church abdicated and ran away.
All right. Bishop Masinde?
I would like to state very clearly to the Kenyans that the church has not changed her position. We still stand on our position. We are not xenophobic. We are not anti-Muslim. We'd like the Muslims to practice their religion, and the Hindus, whether they are any other religions, they are free to practice this country as our constitution allows. But it is not the place of the state to advance religious and enforce religious edicts. That should be left to the religions themselves. And that is our stand. And we want to say very clearly here, the church is, again, the least of your problems. Your problems are with politicians who say one thing in public, and when they go to funerals and weddings in the countryside, say another thing. When they go on vernacular radio, say another thing. That is really your major problem. The church is being bashed left, right, and center, but the church is part of this country. We also want a new constitution, but let us be very clear. If someone tells you, if you cook this food, don't put in pili-pili, and you still go ahead and put it, and then you say, oh, they are refusing good food. Just take it and we shall give you some medicine afterward. It's not an argument that's here or there. It is our country. It's our constitution. We are the ones making it. Let's take time, make a good constitution. Otherwise, 2005, if we never learned the lessons of 2005, we'll have to repeat them again. We went to the people with a document on which the political elite was not fully agreed. We have the time. It's our constitution. It's our country. Let's take our time, go with a good document to the people that is acceptable. Don't tell us it's 80% good. What about the 20%? How bad is the 20%? How bad is the 10%?
All right.
Let's deal with it. Can't we deal? Can we take 20 weeks and deal with the 10% and deal with the 20% so that what we present to the people is acceptable? That is my plea.
Well, there you have it. Those are the views of our panelists tonight, Dr. Timothy Njoya and, of course, Bishop J.B. Masinde. The votes right now, in response to our big question, 76-24 is a split. The no's currently in the lead. Do keep your votes coming on the number 8040. Back to you, Michael. Arsenal is having a bit of a rough day, especially after Manchester United, for lack of a better word, were dumped out of the Champions League by a certain German side and a Dutch player who has no hair. Anyway, back to serious matters right here for you on KTN Newsnight. We are, of course, focusing on some of the 2 key contentious issues that have been raised, especially as far as the church is concerned. We have dealt with the Qadhi's courts. Right now, we're going to be moving into the issue of abortion. Now, the church has made its stand extremely clear. They do not want that in the constitution, period. On the other hand, however, there are those who believe abortion shouldn't even be there in the first place, and it's a non-issue in that regard. With me in studio to discuss these matters in more detail, I'm now joined by nominated legislator, Millie Thiambo. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And Dr. Stephen Karanja. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with your position, Madam Legislator. Abortion in the Constitution, out of the Constitution, lots of noise, for lack of a better word, flying around. What are your thoughts on how the debate is shaping up so far?
I think we are overhyping what is in the draft constitution. And the reason that I think we are overhyping it is if you actually look at the current constitution as read together with the penal code, then it is more liberal than what is even provided here. But even then, you know, because Kenya is one of the most conservative countries, we have actually now attempted to provide a very, very high standard. If you look at the countries that have actually provided expressly outlawing abortion, there are only 4 in the world. to the best of my knowledge, and that's Chile, El Salvador, the Vatican, and Malta. So Kenya is going to be the 5th in the world by what we've provided. So we've gotten as conservative as we can get in this draft constitution.
In your view, is that a positive development or a negative one?
Well, if you ask me, you know, I cut across many things. I am a Christian, I am a human rights lawyer, I am a child rights advocate, and I'm a women's rights person. So if there is anybody who should be...
Let's focus on you as a woman.
Speaking about me as a woman,
yes.
I think if you ask me really, let us, you know, of course, then you can't even say me as a woman and divorce the rest of me. I'm a whole being, really. But I would actually say, and that's what I talked about, let us, because if you look at the Bill of Rights, it's about rights. Talk about the right to life, and then let us put everything else in legislation. But the reason that we are actually trying to do what you can't do through the Constitution is why we are getting all this confusion. But for me, really, even then now, we've gotten as conservative as we can through this draft.
Dr. Karanja, you're of the view that this whole issue of abortion shouldn't even be in the Constitution in the first place. Why?
Because I ask myself, number one, as a Kenyan, number two, as a doctor, number three, as a parent, I ask myself, where did this abortion get into the draft constitution? Who has betrayed my profession? Who has betrayed my children? Who has betrayed this country?
Just for the sake of clarity, betrayed how?
Betrayed in the sense of making abortion legal, protected by the Constitution of this country, legalizing it on demand from conception to the end in a country that has a lot of Christians whose central foundation is sanctity of life.
Is that what 26(4) does? It
legalizes
abortion.
No, it does not at all. It doesn't at all.
Let me clear this, because I don't like this coming from the head, and I also think that maybe denying or counter-denying normally does not help, because Kenyans will never know the truth. Number one, I want to read directly what the article says. It says this on subsection 4, that abortion is not permitted unless, and now here, listen now, be careful, unless in the opinion is a thing of the mind, opinion of a trained health professional. That is direct reading. A trained health technician, professional, does not need to be the doctor. Could be a clinical officer. Could be anybody who works and is trained in a health institution anywhere in the country. In their opinion, and remember, in this country, we have two types of health practitioners. Those ones who do abortions and those who do not. If a Kenyan child is taken to these people of abortion, the doctors of abortion, the nurses of abortion, and in their opinion, they are asked, what should happen? And this is direct. There's nothing to deny. That's what he says.
Well, we have a lawyer on the set. Is that the correct legal interpretation of that particular clause?
Not for me, because if you actually look at the way this article is worded, it starts, everybody has a right to life. And then two, the life of a person begins at conception, meaning we are already giving life at conception. Even though I know there are going to be legal difficulties, that at what point are you going to say this is when life begins? If you have sex, you go and check yourself every 2 minutes to notice if there's conception. So there may be even a problem with that. But for the sake of those who do not want abortion, we've gone that far to say life begins at conception. But if you look at that sub-article 4, I'm also reading from the draft constitution, abortion is not permitted unless in the opinion of a trained health professional. And when you say professional, underline the word professional.